Tom Lawson sat stiffly in the cramped plastic chair shoved into the corner of the small ultrasound room at St. Mary's Clinic in Chelmsford. The cold gel spread over his wife Emily's swollen belly was a minor discomfort compared to the heavy silence in the air. His gaze shifted nervously between the flickering black and white screen and Dr. Clark's increasingly distracted face. Dr. Clark was a man in his mid-40s with thinning hair and wire-rimmed glasses that kept sliding down his nose. Usually calm and composed, now he fidgeted with his stethoscope as if it might burst into flames. Tom swallowed hard. He'd been through enough pregnancy scans over the past 7 months to know when something was wrong. Is everything all right, doctor? Tom asked, voice tighter than he intended. Dr. Clark glanced at Emily, whose perfectly arched eyebrows were raised in alarm despite her glowing pregnancy complexion. Even 7 months along, she looked like a fitness model. Toned calves, sleek ponytail, and a form-fitting maternity top paired with designer leggings and white trainers that screamed, "I don't do maternity wear by accident." "The baby is fine," Dr. Clark said quickly, almost too quickly. "I just need to discuss some technical details with you, Mr. Lawson. Could you and your wife step outside for a moment?" Emily's eyes narrowed, and she shot Tom a look that could have frozen Niagara Falls. "Don't take all day," she said with a smirk. "I've got a Pilates class at 4. Tom couldn't help but think. Of course she did. Since discovering that personal trainer, Jake, Emily seemed to have more appointments with him than with her own husband. The door clicked shut behind them, and Dr. Clark's mask of professionalism crumbled. Mr. Lawson, he began, voice dropping to a whisper. "What I'm about to show you will change everything." Tom's heart pounded as the screen switched to images that looked like 2 tiny astronauts floating in space. Twins? Emily had been carrying twins the entire time and hadn't told him. But that wasn't the worst of it. Do you notice the difference in bone density here? And the facial structure? Dr. Clark's finger traced the grainy screen. "One of these babies is not yours." Tom blinked. "What do you mean?" "Not mine. It's called heteropaternal superfecundation," Dr. Clark said, as if that explained everything. "It's rare but possible when a woman releases multiple eggs and has relations with more than one partner in a short time frame. In other words, Mr. Lawson, your wife is carrying twins from 2 different fathers." Tom's hands trembled. Not the dramatic shaking you see in films, but the subtle quake of a man whose entire world had just been rewritten. "Does Emily know?" he asked. "No, not likely. The differences wouldn't be apparent without medical training." Dr. Clark's eyes searched Tom's. "Have you noticed any changes in her behavior? Distance? Secretiveness?" Tom almost laughed bitterly. Distance. Emily treated him like a lodger who occasionally paid rent. More texts to Jake than conversations with him. Those Instagram live sessions where she giggled at comments he wasn't privy to. "Yeah," Tom admitted. "You could say that." Dr. Clark's advice was blunt. "Pack a bag. Get a lawyer. File for divorce." Today? Tom echoed, stunned. "Trust me. The sooner you protect yourself, legally and financially, the better." Tom rose unsteadily, but Dr. Clark's voice stopped him again. Mr. Lawson, I'm truly sorry. You deserve to know that." He nodded and stepped into the hallway where Emily was leaned against the wall, phone in hand, thumbs dancing across the screen with the enthusiasm she once reserved for him. "Finally," she said without looking up. "What took so long?" "Just some routine questions about the delivery," Tom said, forcing normalcy into his voice. "Great. Can we go?" Pilates waits for no one. They walked to the car in silence. Emily slid into the passenger seat and immediately resumed her texting, fingers flying as if she were composing the next great novel. Tom's phone buzzed. A message from Rick, his best mate. "Beer tonight? You sound like you need it." Had it really been that obvious? Tom glanced sideways. Emily was now busy taking selfies, probably for her pregnancy glow Instagram story. The same pregnancy that apparently included a secret he was only just discovering. He ignored Rick's offer. Instead, he watched as Emily drove off to the gym, her yoga pants hugging curves he once thought were his alone. Through the window, Jake waited, 6'4", broad-shouldered, and grinning like he knew a secret Tom didn't. Tom's phone buzzed again. This time, a message from Emily's best friend, Sophie. "Girl, you're glowing. Jake's got you looking amazing." The text wasn't meant for Tom, but somehow it had landed in his inbox. He sat in the parking lot, staring at the words, feeling the cold weight of betrayal settle deep in his chest. Then he drove home to their quaint terraced house in Chelmsford. The one with the white picket fence and perfectly manicured garden that suddenly felt like a stage for a play he didn't audition for. Inside, framed wedding photos felt like crime scene evidence. The throw pillows Emily insisted on buying now seemed like props from a drama he didn't want to star in. Upstairs he found her laptop unlocked, either careless or confident. Her inbox was full of fitness brand emails and workout schedules, but buried deep was a thread with someone named Jake. His heart sank reading the messages: "Can't wait for our private session tomorrow. Tom's working late again. I'll take good care of you, baby. All of you." Tom's fingers trembled as he scrolled through months of messages. This wasn't a fling. It was a calculated betrayal that started before Emily was even pregnant. His phone rang. Emily's voice was casual. "Hey love. Left my laptop open. Can you close it for me? Don't want the screen to burn out." "Sure," he said, voice steady as steel. "Oh, and Tom? I'll be late tonight. Jake wants to go over some new routines for my next video." Of course he did. After dropping her at the gym, Tom watched Emily walk inside, her leggings clinging to every curve he used to think were reserved for him. Jake was waiting, all 6 feet 4 inches of him, his smile too perfect, his presence too familiar. Tom's phone buzzed again. Sophie's message was clear. Emily was living a double life and Tom was just waking up to the nightmare. He sat back, knowing one thing for sure. His life, his marriage, and everything he thought he knew was about to go up in flames, and somewhere in the shadows, the real story was only just beginning. The next morning Tom woke with a pounding headache and a sick feeling in his gut, the kind that settles when you realize there's no turning back. He'd spent a restless night piecing together the fragments of Emily's double life, the betrayal stretching out like a dark shadow across every memory he had. Today wasn't going to be routine. He called in sick to his job at the local IT firm, not because he wanted to, but because he needed time to deal with the fallout. The law firm he'd contacted the day before, Grant & Associates, was his first stop. He wasn't sure if he was ready for battle, but he knew he needed an ally. Miss Grant was exactly what he hoped for. Sharp, no nonsense, and with an icy demeanor that suggested she'd seen it all before. Her office smelled of leather and stale coffee, a stark contrast to the chaos brewing in Tom's mind at Mr. Lawson, she said, scanning the dossier he'd brought, printouts of texts, emails, and the ultrasound images. "This is one of the clearest cases of adultery I've encountered in years. The evidence is overwhelming. And the medical report? Quite extraordinary." Tom nodded, swallowing a lump in his throat. "So what does that mean for me? For the twins?" "Legally, you have a strong case," Miss Grant explained, pushing her glasses up her nose. "You will have parental rights and responsibilities for the child that's biologically yours. The other? That's more complicated, but you won't be financially responsible for a child who isn't yours." Tom felt a flicker of relief amidst the storm. "And the divorce? Get ready to fight, Mr. Lawson. But with this evidence, you're in a powerful position." He left the office feeling a strange mix of hope and dread. There was no turning back now. Later that afternoon, Tom found himself outside the gym where Emily spent most of her waking hours. The place buzzed with energy, the clinks of weights, the hum of treadmills, and the laughter of people trying desperately to look like they enjoyed exercise. Emily was there, of course, effortlessly commanding attention in her tight, black leggings and a cropped neon sports bra that revealed the gentle curve of her belly. Her blonde hair was pulled into a high ponytail that swayed with her every move, and despite the pregnancy, she moved with the grace of a dancer. Jake was by her side, his muscular frame towering over hers. His hands rested lightly on her waist as they shared a private joke, their smiles too intimate for public display. Tom felt like a ghost watching a scene from a play he no longer belonged to. "Tom?" Emily's voice cut through the noise, sharp and surprised. She squared her shoulders and approached, heels clicking on the polished floor. "What are you doing here?" "I'm in the neighborhood," Tom said, forcing a casual tone. "Thought I'd see how your training was going." Jake straightened up, eyeing Tom like a hawk. "She's smashing it," he said, voice low and guarded. "Really pushing herself." Tom's gaze locked with Jake's. "I've been hearing a lot about your training methods lately," he said slowly. "Especially from social media." A flicker of something. Anger, maybe fear, crossed Jake's face. "From who?" "Oh, just the usual chatter," Tom replied. a sardonic smile tugging at his lips. People talk. Emily stepped between them, her expression a mix of irritation and concern. Tom, what's going on? You're acting weird. Weird? Tom echoed, glancing at her toned abs beneath that neon top. No, I'm just excited about the babies. Both of them. Emily's face drained of color. Both of them? The twins, Tom said, voice steady despite the storm inside. Dr. Clark told me yesterday. Jake's smile faltered, replaced by a tight, forced grin. Twins? Emily didn't mention that. There are some interesting genetic variations, but I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. Emily grabbed Tom's arm. Can we talk somewhere private? Tom shook his head. Actually, I have a meeting with my lawyer. Jake, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of each other soon. After all, you're going to be part of this family for a long time. He turned and walked away, leaving them standing there like deer caught in headlights. The gym's fluorescent lights felt harsh, exposing every crack in the facade. As he reached the door, he caught Emily's panicked whisper. What did he mean about genetic variations? Tom smiled for the first time in weeks. The game was on. That evening, Tom sat in his small, rented flat on the outskirts of Chelmsford, the glow of his laptop screen illuminating his tired face. Notifications buzzed relentlessly. Texts and calls from Emily, Jake, even Sophie. He ignored them all. Instead, he opened a new social media account under a false name and began planting subtle seeds of doubt beneath Emily's posts. Nothing overt, just whispers in the digital wind. Has anyone else noticed how much time Emily spends with her trainer? Wonder what Tom thinks. Within hours, curious followers chimed in. The perfect pregnancy journey was starting to crack, and Tom watched with grim satisfaction as the cracks widened. His phone buzzed again. Emily. Tom, we need to talk. He typed back, I'm exactly where I need to be. How was your session? Don't play games. What did you mean about genetic variations? I think you know. Long silence. Tom, I can explain. Can you? Because I've seen the messages. All of them. You told me I was boring. You said you wanted to be with someone exciting. That you'd planned this. It's not like that, she pleaded. Tom, I never stopped loving you. Tom shook his head, feeling the weight of 1,000 shattered promises. It's too late, Emily. Way too late. He ended the call and stared at the ceiling, the storm outside echoing the tempest in his heart. Tomorrow, the battle would truly begin. The next day, Tom returned to Grant and Associates, the weight of sleepless nights etched into the dark circles beneath his eyes. Miss Grant greeted him with a steely gaze, sliding divorce papers across her polished mahogany desk like a general dealing out battle orders. Your wife's attorney called this morning, she said, adjusting her sharp glasses. Emily wants to talk settlement. Tom raised an eyebrow. Already? I just filed yesterday on a small legal community. News travels fast. Especially when adultery and paternity disputes are involved. She sighed. Her lawyer, Mr. Morrison, has quite the reputation for representing cheating spouses. But with the evidence you've provided, you hold all the cards. Tom picked up one of the incriminating photos from the file. Emily and Jake in what was clearly a hotel room, their smiles too satisfied, their poses too intimate to be innocent. What's she proposing? Miss Grant smirked. She wants to keep the house, both cars, and half your retirement fund. In exchange, she's willing to settle quickly and quietly. Tom laughed. A bitter, hollow sound. Quiet? After broadcasting her affair on social media for months? Not a chance. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. This is Jake. We need to talk. He showed it to Miss Grant. The boyfriend wants a chat. She shook her head. Don't respond yet. Let's see what they're willing to offer first. That afternoon, Tom drove past their home in the quiet Chelmsford suburb. Emily's sleek black Audi sat in the driveway alongside Jake's flashy yellow Camaro, and two unfamiliar vehicles. Across the street, Tom parked and watched as Emily, Jake, and a small entourage of friends gathered on his lawn. Sophie, her sister Claire, and two other women from Emily's yoga class. Their animated gestures and hushed tones screamed damage control. Tom pulled out his phone and began recording, the flickering screen a silent witness to their scheming. Later, he called Rick, his loyal mate and sounding board. How's the divorce going? Emily's lawyer is pushing hard. She wants everything and expects you to disappear quietly. Tom chuckled darkly. I've got other plans. Rick grinned. You still got contacts at Channel 7, right? Tom nodded. Yeah. Why? Because the public deserves to know when their fitness idols have skeletons in the closet. Tom hesitated. That's playing with fire. Good. Maybe it's time someone got burned. The following morning, Tom awoke to a barrage of missed calls and texts. His phone buzzed with alerts about Emily's Instagram blowing up. Not with supportive messages, but with accusations and leaked screenshots. Someone named Jim Truth had posted a series of damning conversations between Emily and Jake, messages even more explicit than those Tom had uncovered. He stared at the phone in disbelief. These weren't from Emily's laptop. Someone else had access. Someone with their own agenda. His phone rang. Emily's voice cracked with desperation. Tom, you have to help me. Someone's leaking private messages. Sponsors are dropping me fast. Why would I help you? Tom asked coldly. Because this isn't just about me anymore. If it gets worse, it'll ruin you too. She was right. The scandal was a wildfire and they were both caught in the flames. Who do you think leaked the messages? Tom pressed. I don't know, she whispered. But some of those screenshots. I never sent them. Someone's doctoring the truth. Tom's mind raced. A frame job on top of betrayal? This was deeper than he thought. He hung up and called Miss Grant. Have you seen this social media mess? Yes. Reporters are circling. This is about to get very public. Good or bad for me? That depends on how we play it. If you're seen as the wronged husband, sympathy could work in your favor. But if it turns into a circus, Tom sighed. It already is. That evening he met Rick at the bar. The place was buzzing, business booming thanks to the scandal. 3 reporters asked about you today. Rick said, pouring a stiff whiskey. And 2 women slipped me their numbers. Turns out being the wronged husband is a magnet. Tom laughed, a genuine smile breaking through for the first time in weeks. This is surreal. Rick clapped him on the back. Enjoy it while it lasts. Next scandal's around the corner. Suddenly Tom's phone buzzed, a text from Jake. Meet me at the gym. 1 hour. Alone. Tom's jaw tightened. This time he replied, on my way. The gym was dark and empty when he arrived. The front door was unlocked, swinging open with an eerie creak. Inside, Jake paced like a caged wolf, tension radiating off him. You did this, Jake accused the moment Tom stepped in. You destroyed her career. I didn't post the messages, Tom said evenly. But I'm not sorry someone did. Emily's lost everything, sponsors, reputation, income. She's pregnant with twins and you ruined her life. Tom studied Jake closely, seeing the bags under his eyes, the trembling hands. This wasn't just about love. This was survival. How much of your business depends on Emily's followers? Tom asked. Jake's face fell. More than I'd like to admit. Tom nodded. So this isn't about love. It's about protecting your meal ticket. Jake's voice cracked. You don't understand. We love each other. Tom stepped closer, voice cold. Love doesn't involve months of lying and planning your escape. Jake sneered. You think you've won? This isn't over. Before Jake could make a move, the front door opened and Emily stumbled in. Her hair was unwashed, eyes red-rimmed, clothes rumpled from days of neglect. Jake, don't, she said, voice shaking. It's not worth it. Tom looked at her. This woman he'd loved, whose betrayal had shattered everything. Emily, he said quietly, I know who leaked the messages. And you're not going to like it. She swallowed hard. It was Sophie. She's been recording everything, saving screenshots. Sold it all to a gossip blog for 10 grand. Tom shook his head in disbelief. Your best friend betrayed you. Emily laughed bitterly. She wanted to watch it burn. Tom looked at them both, the schemers undone by jealousy and greed. You know what, Emily? You deserve this. He turned for the door, but her voice stopped him. Tom, wait. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Maybe we can find a way for the babies. He met her gaze. The woman who'd shared his bed and dreams. Now a stranger. One of those babies isn't mine, he said softly. I won't pretend otherwise. Maybe we can fix it. I'll end it with Jake. We can try. Tom shook his head. It's too late. Leaving them in the silent gym, he stepped outside into the cold night. Tomorrow Miss Grant would file the final papers. The past was closing, but the future? That was still a mystery waiting to unfold. Tom sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, the glow of his phone screen casting shadows across his weary face. The silence was broken only by the steady drip of rain against the window and the relentless buzzing of incoming messages, texts from Emily, Jake, and Sophie, each more desperate than the last. He ignored them all, focusing instead on the plan taking shape in his mind. Emily's Instagram, once a vibrant gallery of pregnancy workouts and glowing selfies, was now a battleground. Under his carefully crafted pseudonym, Tom had sown whispers of doubt that blossomed into a digital storm. Followers questioned her loyalty, her honesty, the very foundation of her perfect image. The cracks were widening, and Tom watched with grim satisfaction as her carefully curated world unraveled. Just as he was about to close his laptop, his phone rang. The caller ID flashed Jake's name. Tom hesitated, then answered. "Tom, we need to talk." Jake's voice was rough, edged with exhaustion. "Now's not a great time." Tom replied evenly that it's about Emily. "About everything." Tom sighed. "Fine. Where?" "The gym." 1 hour. Alone. An hour later, Tom pushed open the gym doors into the empty, echoing space. Jake waited near the free weights, pacing like a caged animal. His broad shoulders hunched, eyes dark and restless. "You did this," Jake said the moment Tom appeared. "You destroyed her career." "I didn't post the messages," Tom said calmly. "But I'm not sorry someone did. Emily lost everything, her sponsors, her reputation, her income. And she's carrying twins. You ruined her life." Jake's hands trembled. "You don't understand. We love each other." Tom's eyes narrowed. "Love doesn't mean months of lies, Jake. You planned this and now you're reaping the whirlwind." Jake took a step forward, voice low and dangerous. "You think you've won? This isn't over." Before tensions could boil over, the gym door creaked open and Emily stepped inside. Her hair was unwashed, her eyes red-rimmed and swollen. She looked like a ghost of the vibrant woman Tom once knew. Wrapped in a loose sweatshirt and worn leggings, "Jake, stop," she whispered, voice shaking. "It's not worth it." Tom looked at her, feeling the weight of every broken promise between them. "Emily," he said softly, "I know who leaked the messages. Sophie." Her bitter laugh cut through the air. "My best friend sold everything to a gossip blog for 10 grand. She wanted to watch me burn." Tom shook his head. "You brought this on yourself." He turned to leave, but Emily's voice stopped him. "Tom, please. I'm sorry. Maybe we can find a way. For the babies." He met her eyes. The woman who'd shared his life, now a stranger. "One of those babies isn't mine. I won't pretend otherwise." "Maybe we can fix it," she pleaded. "I'll end it with Jake. We can try." Tom shook his head. "It's too late." He left them standing in the empty gym, the rain outside washing away the last traces of what had been. Tomorrow the divorce papers would be signed, and this chapter would close. But as he walked into the night, Tom knew the real story was only just beginning. The following morning, Chelmsford stirred under a pale, overcast sky as Tom made his way to the bustling cafe where he was set to meet Sarah Chun, the producer for the local news segment covering Emily's scandal. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the hum of early patrons, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in his mind. Sarah was already there, arranging cameras and lighting with the precision of a seasoned professional. Her sharp features softened when she saw Tom. "Mr. Lawson, thank you for coming. Let's be clear, you're here for your son, not Emily." Tom nodded, the weight of recent weeks pressing down like a stone. "Exactly." Minutes later, Emily arrived, pushing a stroller that cradled Zoe, the baby girl with her father Jake's striking dark eyes. Emily's slender figure was draped in a loose sweater and maternity jeans, her blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun. Despite the chaos, she carried herself with a fragile grace, the remnants of the fitness influencer still visible beneath the weariness. Jake joined them moments before filming began, his tall frame tense, fingers twitching nervously. The interview started with the expected pleasantries: parenthood, coping with twins, navigating the aftermath. Emily spoke with practiced contrition, her voice steady but brittle. When Sarah turned to Tom, her question hit like a cold wave. "Some say taking full custody of Matthew was vindictive. Your response?" Tom met the camera's gaze, voice firm. "My priority is Matthew's stability and well-being. Emily's facing challenges, and I believe he's best served in a stable home, with loving parents who put his needs first." Emily flinched at the words, but held her composure. Jake shifted uneasily as Sarah addressed him. How has fatherhood changed you? Jake's eyes flickered to Emily before answering. It's made me realize consequences. I regret the pain caused, but not Zoe. I love my daughter. Emily's facade cracked. You pursued me. You knew I was married. Jake's voice softened. We both made mistakes. The tension thickened. Emily's frustration spilled out. I'm tired of being the villain. I'm more than my mistakes. Tom's voice cut through gently. No one called you a bad mother, except in court. Your lawyer argued you were unfit. Emily's laugh was bitter. Unfit? Or just not boring enough? The room held its breath as raw truths surfaced. Marriage as a prison, loneliness, betrayal. Sarah struggled to steer the conversation back. But the damage was done. As cameras stopped rolling, Tom gathered Matthew's belongings. Emily's tears fell silently as Jake offered a tentative apology. Outside, Tom cradled Matthew, the baby's soft breaths grounding him. The road ahead was uncertain, tangled with pain and hope. His phone buzzed, a message from Miss Grant. *DNA results ready. Come to my office. Tom's heart pounded. This chapter was ending, but the next was just beginning.